I'm fired up for the show today. But apparently, if you've been on Twitter or YouTube lately, you've seen this. I'm not quite as fired up as Kirby Smart was at halftime of the Florida game.
How could you be? Possibly.
Yeah, 21 points in like 2 minutes there at the end of the half, and you're shutting out your opponent. But brother, we've all now listened to the Kirby Smart audio. For those of you who don't know, I highly encourage / discourage you. I don't know what I'm allowed to say here, PJ. You're the smart one. There is audio of Kirby Smart's halftime speech to Georgia during the Florida game that is leaked online. I don't know how. If I had to guess, there's all these TV shows that like follow Georgia around everywhere, and they like post like the really PG halftime conversations, and like a lot of. So you have like there's a TV station in Atlanta. I don't want to guess which one. I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't want to guess. There's a TV station that's doing like a featured series on Georgia this year. Obviously, the official athletics like accounts all have camera people in there as well. So between all of that, somebody leaked Kirby Smart's, I guess, halftime speech is the best way to put it, but more so what it boils down to, and we're going to get into some of the direct quotes, leaving out obviously the colorful language.
There's a lot of omissions in there.
The colorful. I thought about.
There's a lot of redacted. Yeah.
I thought about, and maybe we still will. I thought about putting the censor bleeps in there, but kind of like what you said. It's like there's certain songs, like rap songs, that you can listen to. It just doesn't make sense trying to listen to them on the radio because if you edit them, it makes literally no sense, right? Yeah. So Kirby Smart, if we try to edit it, but then like kind of leave the message into it, it would be very borderline. So again, it's out there. I think it's awesome. But I mean, Kirby Smart fired up, obviously, and he said to start with, to just kind of paraphrase through, he says he remembers looking at Tyson and Stokes coming off the field at halftime. So again, this is halftime of 2021. He's talking about coming off the field a year prior when you had just gotten shellacked by Florida in the first half. So obviously trying to get the guys hyped up. And then he says, he looks like he goes Jamari, and he points at a couple other guys. He said, I love it. They're talking bleep. And you didn't say anything back to him. And then he goes and says, we are dominating their undisciplined behinds, which I thought that was the most damning thing. Just how quickly Kirby Smart, who is a very good football coach, looked at Florida this year and called them undisciplined.
Yeah. So quick.
Undisciplined.
2 quarters.
Undisciplined. I mean, just like it was just top of the mind. It was the first word he thought to describe them was undisciplined. And he goes on, again, a lot more colorful language and saying he wants to physically break them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple thoughts on this. Number one, I think it's awesome. It's like our second, it's like our second leaked audio in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And completely kind of different ends of the spectrum, I think. Yeah.
Both times, I think it kind of sucks that it got leaked, but I'm also happy that they did get leaked.
Yeah.
Because we got to hear. And for anybody out there who's like, that is just atrocious, I can't believe they would be using that kind of language. I don't know what to tell you.
Too soft to watch sports.
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's football. You have 300-pound grown men who can run 4.4s and 4.5s colliding into each other. This is I don't know if I've said this to you since you've been on the show. My favorite way to describe football, because it's hard. It's kind of gets filtered when you watch it on TV. I encourage anybody out there. I always encourage people to go watch high school football or high school sports in general. But I encourage anyone out there who consumes football just to go watch a good high school football game and try to stand on the sideline. If you find a way, somebody, anything, try to stand on the sideline. You can feel like the concussive impact when those players hit each other. Mm-hmm. Now imagine that, and it's the cream of the crop, and they're a few years older, and they can fly around, and it's the best ones of those in the country hitting each other, and that's where you've gotten to when you're talking about SEC football. The best way, Cam, I can describe football to people is, when was the last time you fell down? Like you screwed up, you were leaning back in your chair, you fell out of bed, you were trying to put something up on a ladder, and you fell down. Like, anything in the recent past?
Probably like a week ago.
But and what did you fall on?
Just the floor.
But what part of your body?
My back.
Did you feel it for a couple days in the back there?
Probably a day or two.
Kind of sore. Yeah, kind of sore. A little. I mean, PJ, I don't know about you. I fall down now, it hurts. and
Right.
like it hurts for a while,
Yeah.
right? Those guys in college, in the pros, they do that hundreds of times every single day.
Mhm.
They have people who are taking out ill will on them every single day. And then you get into a game, and I know I've been saying this a lot, it's the only sport where you practice more than you play,
Mhm.
where
True.
you practice so much more than you play, right? And so you're going out there and you only get 12 games guaranteed a year. These guys are going to be out there absolutely going to war. And listen, when you're fired up, when you're trying to get 100 grown men to go and physically dominate another 100 grown men, sometimes the language is going to get colorful.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
guarantee you, Cam, you listened to it. PJ, you said you read it. I know. I'm the biggest Kirby Smart Georgia fan in here.
I mean, it's
Not
just the
going out of
first
his
thing I
way to-
came across.
Not
I
going out of his way to listen
read
to
it.
I listened to it like
all
18
right,
I listened to it like 18 times. But in no way was my first thought, oh, he needs to settle down. My first thought was like, give me a piece of drywall to run through,
right.
because that's fired up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Nick Saban do it, so why can't Kirby Smart do it? I like it. I just like the attitude that he's bringing this year. So I'm excited. I like what I see, but we got to still keep it up, though. I will put it like that.
No, absolutely. Like you said, I think I like almost what he said in the message, almost even more than him just being loud and using colorful language and all that stuff. Like you said, the first thing he pointed out, first impression he got out of Florida was how undisciplined they were, how they just came in talking all the business, all the trash, whatever, and his players aren't giving it back. Instead, aren't talking it back. Instead, they're giving it back. And then, of course, he goes on talking about we got to physically dominate them. We got to physically, break them.
Yes.
Which, if that doesn't make you just, I want to break everything when I hear that. Like, yeah, let's do it. Like, that's fantastic. But like you said, like when you're asking guys to get amped up and controllably be amped up, be disciplined, but at the same time be amped up. Like sometimes that's going to come out. Those colorful words are going to come out and whatnot. And it's just how it is. I guarantee you, even some of those coaches that you look at and you're like, he probably wouldn't say anything like that. Yeah, he's most likely said it at least once or twice.
Well, here's the other thing you have to consider too is Kirby Smart played safety for Georgia.
Yeah.
Like he played in that game, right? You don't think he's
He
amped
knows.
up every time
Yeah.
they go to Jacksonville? You don't think he's feeling that when they're getting their butts kicked the year before,
Right.
just getting slaughtered by Kyle Pitts and Kyle Trask and Kadarius Toney and those guys and Grimes, right? I mean, literally the way it finishes is he says our bleeps are gonna kick the bleeping bleep out of them physically. Physically, I want to break them. I'm talking about bleeping breaking these on defense and offense.
They heard all the trash talk from last year. I mean, you find what they went how many years being Florida before last year?
3 in a row before that,
and then you finally lose a game
And
where
you didn't just lose that game. You got
handled.
beat.
You got handled.
Beat.
But I mean, you was depleted some guys on defense. But the next year,
No, there's no excuses. Like
There's
on
no
that one.
excuses.
Yeah, like
No
that one. You
excuses.
like Florida last year just wrecked you.
but I mean, he came back this year with vengeance. He's like, okay, we heard all the talking. Let's go ahead and just break them physically and mentally. So it's also an indictment on Dan Mullen saying they're very undisciplined.
Well, that's where I was going to
Yeah.
go next. Is contrast that to Dan Mullen after Florida beats Samford. Now, I'm not complaining about Florida celebrating the locker room. I know I've already addressed this, saying it's football. You get 12 guaranteed a year. You got to celebrate when you win. I don't care who it's against. I don't care what the performance looked like. If you win a football game, you should celebrate. But Dan Mullen, in typical Dan Mullen fashion, coming out, just kind of like beating around the bushes on the questions. Like, I think the locker room and the press conference are two different things. I think in the press conference, when they're asking you, hey, you beat Samford, and that obviously wasn't the results you guys were looking for in terms of the spread, then he's just like, well, what are you talking about? We won the game. It's like, come on, man. You gave up more points in the first half than you've ever given up in the history of the school, right? I think it's two different things. So contrast those two things, and I think you kind of look at where the state of those two programs are right now. But I will say this. Programs take on the attitude of their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have watched that defense play this year. I think we kind of see what the message is pretty much in every halftime.
Yeah, something like that. And you can like you said, they take on the attitude of their coaches, and seeing videos of um, defensive players after games, like after against Missouri, I think it was 43-6, and Nakobe Dean was on the sideline talking to a couple of his
No,
guys.
that was the Florida game.
That was
Yeah,
the
That was
Florida
the
game?
Florida
Okay.
game.
He's talking about like,
Yeah, they
listen,
scored the one touchdown, and he was like,
no, that's too much, man. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. No, we won the game. It doesn't matter. Like no one said that to him, but he's like, it doesn't matter. We got to play better
Yeah.
than this defensively.
which
It was
now,
like that's incredible.
now you have the kind of pretext to that,
Yeah.
which is Kirby Smart saying he wanted zeros on the scoreboard
Right.
at
Right.
the end.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they gave up the 7, obviously with a lot of the starters out and Emory Jones driving down in the fourth quarter and putting that score up. But
Yeah.
like it's pretty fascinating to watch. And we talked about yesterday, Stetson Bennett with his offense. It's his right now. I mean, Kirby Smart's now come out twice this week and said JT Daniels is repping with the 2s.
Yeah.
Like, this is Stetson Bennett's offense going forward. So it's gonna be fascinating. I think to use the cliche, the table has been set.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Alabama because Alabama ain't gonna lose to Arkansas and Auburn. Could they drop one of those? I'd give it like a 10% chance that they
Right.
drop one of them. I'd say a 0.001% chance that they drop both
Mhm.
of those games unless something catastrophic happens to Bryce Young. And even then, just the way Alabama has decimated Arkansas recently, and then the Iron Bowl is Iron Bowl. But I think the chances of them losing one of those games is like 10%.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be Alabama, Georgia. And so you're going to have Kirby Smart against Nick Saban. And
I need that same energy.
one it's going to be it's a non-traditional Alabama team.
Yeah, it's not the same Alabama team.
You know what's
normally see.
horrifying is I think this is just an Alabama team that's a year early.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean,
It's bad. I mean,
that's what
they
it
got a
is.
lot of young guys. I mean,
it's Bryce Young as a redshirt freshman.
That's all it is. So you better get it while you can.
and
Get it while you can.
Then again, like
Yeah.
no one's gonna say, well, they won the SEC championship game, but it was that year before that year Alabama won the national championship or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
this is the time to go and get it, and that's what we were talking about. Remember, it feels like yesterday, but in June and July, everyone talking about, is this year to get Alabama? Is this year to get? Well, it's kind of proving to be that, even though yes, they're in a great position.
Yeah, they're the number
they
2
have a
team in
very
the country.
talented team on offense, but well, guess what? Who's one better than them right now? It's the University
Here's
of
your,
Right.
Georgia.
here's your window.
Right now. So
Right
no,
now.
it's a window. It's gotta
It is.
it's
Yeah.
gotta get in that for sure.
'Cause
But,
Bamboo, they're gonna be good next year.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean,
well,
I
like
was
every
going
year.
to say,
Every
I
year.
that's pretty much an evergreen statement until
Right.
Nick Saban retires, and then maybe even after that, who knows? We got an interesting exercise we're going to do next. The Athletic did it with their latest power rankings, and obviously I'm just going to steal it from them, but with credit to them. And I just kind of want us to give our answers to what this exercise is. We'll dive into that next. I think it'll be a pretty interesting exercise. Some NFL talk next, right here on Second Down. Second down on ESPN Radio. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko and Cam Urshery. Lindsey Jones and Josh Kendall from The Athletic put out an interesting piece. I encourage everyone to read it. It's their latest power rankings. But they added a caveat in this one. The caveat, and we're going to do this exercise here, is which player would every team in the NFL swipe if they got just like basically one free? It's like you just get to go no matter what, no matter salary cap, no matter anything, go into another team. You need a player, you can go grab them, and nobody can stop you. Obviously, we're not going to do all 32 NFL teams. I just want to focus on the Atlanta Falcons here. If you guys are sitting in the front office and Roger Goodell called the Falcons and said, hey, I still feel bad about 28-3. You guys can just go out there and get one player that nobody can stop you and add him to the Falcons. You get to pick up basically the rest of his contract. It's not a one-year deal. You have him for the length of the contract and then try to re-up him from there. Which player would you try to go get?
You go first, man. I'm still thinking. That's a good
Right?
question.
I was trying to think, like,
Damn.
you can think of so many different ways. Like, do you go and get, some star offensive player, especially from – my first thought was I want to make this like a twofold thing, right? Like, I want to not only go out and get a great player that would be an awesome fit for the Falcons, I also want to take it from a divisional opponent, right? Because it's the kind
I
of –
don't think there's anybody besides Tom Brady that I would want.
right,
from a
that's
divisional
kind of the
opponent, and
process that I was going through, and it's just like I don't know. But
I like that double negative thought, though. The addition by subtraction. I like that. I
yeah,
appreciate
for
you.
sure. Like, you kind of like a
Devious.
double leg up. You know what I mean? Then again, I think you talk about some of the weak parts of the Falcons over the past, not only short history and short little bit, but 5, 10, 15 years. One of the things we're always talking about is the rush, right? It's the pass rush for the Falcons and being able to create pressure. And while this guy can do it. I mean, why not just go out and get the best player, defensive player possibly, if not the best overall player in the league, which I know a lot of people think.
Yep.
And I would tend to agree with that. I mean, you talk about the impacts you make every single week. Go get Aaron Donald, man.
I would
I mean,
not
that would
complain.
sure up a lot of that defense.
I would not complain whatsoever.
With
I mean,
one
basically, the Rams are already playing this game anyway.
Yeah, they're basically, yeah.
So I want Jalen Ramsey. I want Matt Stafford.
Von Miller.
I want OBJ.
No.
Yeah.
They're already playing this game anyway.
Well, you know who else doing that a little bit? Like, not I guess, to it. The Cardinals kind of did that too.
A little bit.
Like, go get me D-Hop.
The Cardinals more
AJ
so
Green.
than that. The Cardinals were like, you let your 12-year-old brother start a franchise.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to get Cliff Kingsbury, and then I'm going to get Kyler Murray, and then I'm going to get D-Hop, and it's going to be, I'm going to force a trade on franchise mode where it's like, are you sure
Yeah.
you want to accept this? And you're like, yeah, hell yeah, I want this.
AJ Green, JJ Watt. I
Yeah,
know he's
AJ
injured,
Green, you get the
but
free agency. I mean, it's just
was
crazy.
it Chandler Jones is out there now too? I think.
He's been out there. Chandler Jones been out there.
Has he?
The most athletic family in the history of the world.
Guys, I would go Patrick Mahomes. I know you wouldn't really argue that. In a down year, the kid's throwing 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions in a down year.
Yeah.
And he just changes you immediately. I love Matt Ryan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but Mahomes, he gets you a guaranteed 10 wins every year. The other 2-3 wins that you need, the defense has to step up, and I believe that could possibly happen. So I would go Mahomes.
For the sake of the game, I'm going to say Roger Goodell was like, yeah, you can't have Pat.
Right.
Okay,
I
I
think
know
there's a
Deshaun Watson
I think
without
there's
the
a-
allegations.
I think there's a couple. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to get out from under those. He would have if he could have. I think those are going to follow him everywhere. But I'm going to say a couple guys. Justin Herbert, I think, is one I would have up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, not the defensive end for the Jaguars, the quarterback for the
Quarterback.
Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I really have come around on Josh Allen, and obviously everyone has. But when he came out, I was like, the hell are they doing? But the dude
Yeah.
is pretty unbelievable. And the Atlanta Falcons have never had a great offensive line. And so to have a guy who can move around a little bit and a guy who can take some hits if you need him to take some hits. I love Matty
he'll
Ice,
take some.
but he's got like this year and maybe next year left.
Yeah.
Like Matt Ryan's not going to be playing 3 years from now, at least for the Atlanta Falcons. Right.
You would hope not, but
I mean, maybe if he's like coming off a Super Bowl, I don't know, hell, but
nah.
yeah, that probably ain't going to happen.
Nah.
So just for the sake of the game, I'm gonna say, I'll say Josh Allen. I think he's proven a little bit more than Herbert, and he's younger, obviously, than Matt Ryan was. I think him and Mahomes are about the same age.
Yeah, they are.
So
Yeah.
I think that'd be huge if you could swipe.
No
that one.
Lamar?
All right. Lamar,
It's
I
a
think
toss,
no.
yeah.
I think
Toss.
Lamar's in a perfect situation because he's with a head coach and a franchise that are willing to, and I'm not saying Arthur Smith wouldn't be. I just wouldn't want to take that away from Lamar. He's with a head coach that believes in him and is like willing to execute the entire team around him. And obviously it's worked. I mean, he's won MVPs. He's been ultra efficient this year, and they're going to be they're one of my Super Bowl favorites. So I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to curse Lamar with that.
But you would have cursed Josh Allen, who
Yeah, I
just
don't
made it
care.
to the AFC
No, why not?
Championship.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
I don't care. I mean, do you think he wants to live in Buffalo or Atlanta? Come on.
Right. He's had his glory in
I
Buffalo. I mean,
AFC
Fine.
Championship last year. I would still, if I couldn't do Pat, yeah, it would probably be Herbert then.
Dude's he's
Yeah,
legit too.
Nah, he's
All right, now here's the
I love
flip
Real
side
good.
of this: is should the Falcons be worried about anybody? Like if they open this up to the entire league, coming in and taking literally
No.
anyone from their team,
Pitts. That's probably the only one, and it depends on what team. would
like
want
Of
him.
course, yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
it
That's
would
a
have to be
maybe,
perfect,
but
because
that's
there's,
it.
I still think there's more tight ends that you would take over. At least 3, right? You're taking Waller, you're taking Kelsey, and you're taking Kittle
Yeah.
before you take Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
true.
Kyle Pitts has been super okay. I think like, and like with defensive tackle, like is somebody really going to spend their one and only pick on Grady Jarrett?
No,
Yeah, no, there's other guys that go out there and
So
get.
that's what I'm
So,
thinking.
like,
It's
yeah.
like
we are terrible.
it's one of those things, Cam. Like you guys remember? I mean, PJ, I know you went to a smaller school.
What about Young Wei Koo? They might go grab him.
No.
Yeah, somebody needs a kicker, and they're taking Young Wei from
They
him.
might
Yeah.
go grab him.
You guys remember like in school, like around like the time of the dance, and like you, for the most part, everyone's already booed up, and you're ready to go, and then there's like the one friend who like fakes having like problems between choosing between girls. He's like, I don't know, man, because if Sally asked me, like, what am I supposed to tell Jessica? And you're just like, neither one of them are gonna ask you. Like that's kind of what I feel like. That's kind of what I feel like with the Falcons is like they'd be like, oh man, who are they gonna take? We have to have contingency plans ready. Like they're not gonna take anybody. Like,
Matt
you guys,
Ryan walks in just like, guys, be quiet.
you guys are safe. Like
We
don't.
are really that bad.
No, it's bad. And you know what's funny is I think they would take somebody on defense before they took anybody on offense, and that's just wild to say.
Yeah,
Like-
it's messed up.
Like AJ Terrell might be the one.
Yeah, he'll be the one
Hmm.
probably. He's statistically
He
a top
hasn't given
5
up. He
receiver.
hasn't given up more
I mean,
than
on
30
corner.
yards in a game this season.
Yeah.
But I wonder
He's
how much.
balling.
I wonder how much of that is just because they can throw to the other side
Yeah,
and they don't have
That-
to
that's
throw
what it
it.
is. That's what it is. They can throw to the. I don't even know our cornerback too. Isaiah Oliver has been injured. Kendall Sheffield's been injured.
It's a.
I don't even
It is
know.
a constant rotation.
Oh man, we have one of the worst rosters in the league. I don't even know how we're 4 and 5, but
I can tell you.
it's about to go downhill.
Number
though.
2, number 84, and Arthur Smith.
Yeah, it's about to go downhill real quick because they got a brutal part of their schedule coming up. But
Hey, you got the Patriots this week, Thursday Night Football.
that's gonna be ugly. I don't even want to watch it. But
think?
I'm going to watch it. It's going to be ugly.
You know, Mac Jones has been the best rookie quarterback so far this year.
Oh yeah, he's been beautiful.
He's been
He's been
balling.
beautiful, and he's getting
Especially,
better
I mean,
each and every week.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. I mean, that's the worry with the Patriots right now. Is it seems like every single week, not only him but the team as a whole is starting to get stronger and stronger. And I mean, obviously, you have the. I don't know. You start thinking down the road, right? It's funny to think that Patriots might be trying to deal for a wild card spot, but they got to deal with the Bills and don't see them beating them. But still, like,
They might win that division.
Yeah,
I think the
I think so.
Bills. Yeah,
I think
they
so,
might win
too.
that division.
well, that's
He-
what I'm saying. The Bills are, but like the Pats in the wild card spot
No,
could be a dangerous
Pats
team.
might win the division.
Oh, you're talking
They're
about
just a game behind. I
Okay.
think now they're
Mhm.
on a 4-game streak.
Here's my
Hottest
question
team.
for you,
I don't
PJ.
know if I
How's
believe in
everything
that
going with your Steagles?
Oh yeah, who cares?
For those of you who don't know, PJ roots for whichever team from Pennsylvania has a better record.
No, that's not it at all. I root for the Steelers unless the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, and then I'll support them. But that's just
Oh, that's
like,
the most Cody bleep I've ever heard in my
that's
life.
Not even close. Not even close to Cody.
I'm an Eagles supporter.
Not even close to
You
Cody.
just said I'm an Eagles supporter.
I support I like the state of Pennsylvania, right? I mean, I'm from there. I am a Steelers fan through and through.
Hell
But
man,
if they're
I,
not in the Super Bowl,
hell man, I like California. That's
And
a
the
pretty cool
Eagles
state. I
are,
like
and
Texas. I don't support the
I'll
Cowboys.
say that actually though too. Like you had the Eagles going for their. Well, this all goes back to the to the Super Bowl, right? You had the Eagles going for their first Super Bowl ever,
Who cares?
and they were playing the evil empire of the Tom Brady.
See, I'm the opposite of
Patriots.
you.
So like,
whenever the
course.
Patriots played anyone in the Super Bowl, I always rooted for the Patriots because if they got another one, who cares?
well, because you're like, man,
That's
you know
true.
what? They're
Can't
going to be
catch
able
up
to
to
make
him.
history.
Yeah.
They'll add on another Super Bowl. The Falcons can't get one anyway, so let's watch the Patriots try and catch up to the Steelers with how
1000%.
many
Yeah, no, I was-
Super Bowls they
No, I
have.
was super like that with the Eagles. Like when the Eagles played the Patriots, I'm like, oh, the Patriots win, because I don't want them to be like, ha, Falcons.
There you go. I mean, that would have been just another year. Like, okay,
Yeah, it's
The
like you
Patriots
kind
won.
of forget about it.
but
Same thing with the
now
Rams.
Nope.
you
Not
look at
anymore.
you look at the Eagles run.
Yeah,
Who did they
PJ,
beat first?
PJ, known
Falcons.
Eagles quote supporter.
When they're in the Super Bowl going for their first Super Bowl, yeah.
They,
So if they went back to the Super Bowl, you wouldn't pull for them?
Depends on who they're playing.
well, the Eagles beat
Well,
the
the Eagle
Falcons.
Empire-
I would,
the
I
Eagle
would,
Empire-
I would enjoy the Super Bowl one way or the other.
All right, so wait, Bill Belichick was Palpatine, or is Palpatine?
Yeah.
Does that make Tom Brady like Darth Maul, and now Mac Jones is Anakin Skywalker?
Oh, you're going like early. You're going like prequels.
Wait,
Or was
I would just go straight up.
Tom Brady Darth Vader?
I would just go straight up Tom Brady,
It's
Darth
true,
Vader.
because then Darth Vader portrays the Emperor at the end.
Yeah. And then he goes and wins a Super Bowl with someone else.
That's true.
Falcons haven't won a home game this year.
That is fascinating. I didn't know that.
Wow.
That is fascinating.
Wow. Yeah. The only home game considered home game was in London. Every other game has been on the road.
I really want to pull it up.
Wow.
Because I obviously the Falcons have won more, but just like the winning percentage of Nick Saban in Mercedes Benz versus the Atlanta Falcons,
How many games have we won in the? We haven't won a lot. Let's just put it like that.
it's
I
bad.
don't even know
Way
why
to
I'm
bring us
asking.
down, Cam. We were going on a Star Wars tangent there, and then you just had to throw that
No,
fact.
That was
that-
pretty
The
random.
only home win was in London. So I don't get it.
Throw that factoid in there. Great. Appreciate that, Cam. On that note, let's go to break. We'll come back after this. PJ, we were being tweeted in your defense.
Yeah.
We were called an SEC bias show.
Well,
I wonder why we talk so much SEC football.
yeah, I know.
Who said that?
I wonder why we talk so much SEC football on a show located in South Georgia.
Well, I think like doesn't mean you have to be biased.
Hell, we talk more Big Ten football on this show than any state or any show or any station in this state.
Sad but
Probably
true.
within like a 5-state radius.
Sad but true.
That's true. Yeah.
I actually do say
Because
a lot
of
that, like,
your
no.
Pennsylvania behind.
I say a lot that like I don't even want to. You bring that stuff up, man. You ask me.
I certainly do, and I ask you about the Steagles.
You're rubbing salt in the wound
That's such a
'cause
cool
we-
name,
we-
Steagles.
because
It sounds like a
the Steelers
Steagle sounds like something delicious you could get
tied
at
the
a diner.
freaking.
Like
Did
you go
you
to a diner, can I get a Steagle?
did you hear that story by the way? So the Steelers tied the Lions.
Yeah, I watched it happen.
They did so because Ben Roethlisberger was out and Mason Rudolph played in the game. Do
Yeah.
you know why Mason Rudolph played in the game and Dwayne Haskins was never asked to come in?
Please tell me.
In pregame warmups, not like we've heard the stories of Dwayne
Yeah, we're talking
Haskins. and
Steelers football on this
everything-
SEC bias show.
everything that happened with the Redskins or whatever. Apparently, he was being lackadaisical in warmups, not really ready for his warmups, and on his phone the whole time.
Why is he in the league?
I
In
don't know.
warmups.
Wow. So he didn't learn his lesson at all
Nah.
from
And
Washington.
apparently, like he was almost about to go in the ball game too, and he like didn't know where his helmet was trying to figure stuff out, like wasn't ready.
That's rough.
Like,
I don't get it. Like, dude, you first round pick, you make all these millions just to play football. Like, why do that? Just go home.
Crazy, man.
Go
What you
home.
things you put your energy into.
Side note too
Well,
is
Anyway,
I didn't get on PJ for a home state thing. I got on PJ because you know this. There's no such thing as being a fan of one team and then being a supporter of the other team. Like I get on Cody about that so hard. Like admit it. That's infuriating, right? When there's a person who rides for one team and then as soon as that team's terrible, oh yeah, but I really like this other team and I'm a supporter of that team.
Nah. Yeah, I can't.
was-
I can't get down like that. Nah.
I don't know. It's different if it's like
I'm okay.
a continued
No,
thing.
no,
Like,
I'm okay if like you pull for like a player, if there's like some narrative, right? Where it's like this guy, like say he went to Penn State and that's your school, and like a Penn State quarterback was leading a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Something along, or Saquon. Say Saquon was in the Super Bowl and you
Right.
you pulled for that team because Saquon was on the team. That's fine. But if you like pull for an entire other team because you have a fallback policy, I think it's lame. Like if there was another.
Well, that wasn't the case at all. But
Like
no,
if there
I know
was
what you
another,
mean.
but this is what we were tweeted is because he supports another team in his home state. Nah.
Well,
That's
it's-
lame. That's like it's like being a Cowboys fan and pulling for the Texans if the Texans make the Super Bowl. It's like being a Georgia fan and pulling for Georgia Tech if Georgia Tech makes it to the national
Would
championship.
agreed, and that's why I think it's great that like we've talked about this before. You don't like right, like you joke around with the SEC chant and all that other stuff and rooting for other like that. That's the whole SEC thing,
No,
right?
if
Is
Florida
like
makes it to a national championship,
I'm
I
not
hope
rooting for
I hope
Florida.
Clemson or Ohio State or one of those
yeah,
schools
demolish
just
them, right?
obliterates them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Now Alabama makes it. I'm not gonna lie. I root for Bama only because like I don't want to, like you said, another team to win.
I don't root for Bama. I appreciate Bama. It's like watching LeBron
Right.
play or like watching Michelangelo paint. You just like
Well, a lot of
like,
people
you
when they
just,
see
you
that
just appreciate it.
they don't respect like people hate on franchises and great players and things like that all the time because they don't respect what we're watching. Like they don't respect the greatness of what we're watching. Yeah, was I sick of Alabama winning every other national championship? Of course, but did I realize like how crazy it was and how awesome they were at the same time?
Were you
100% of
when
course too.
when Connor Cook and the Michigan State Spartans
Yeah, no, that was
made it to
gross.
the college football
No,
playoff?
hell
Were
no,
you
they,
like
they weren't good.
Big Ten,
No,
Big
Who was y'all
Ten?
running back? Was
Good
it
God,
Le'Veon
no.
that year? Was Le'Veon a running
it
back
might.
that year?
I don't think so. I think
That
that
might
was,
have been a
no, I think
little-
Le'Veon was already doing people in
Oh, really?
the NFL. I think he was already cooking people in the NFL
Yeah.
in 2015.
No, I'll say I
They
completely.
did have a really good running back though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a good
I
running back.
completely agree with you.
And they
I,
had that defensive line.
I
Was it
can
Golston?
see him.
Yeah, Golston.
I can see the running
Was-
back because he had like the most epic. He's like number 3. He had like the most epic reach like goal line touchdown against Iowa in the most Big Ten of all Big Ten championship games. It was 13-9.
Jeremy Langford. There it goes.
Yeah,
the running
yeah.
back. Okay, that's
He
one.
like if you go back and watch at the end of that Big Ten championship game, he like gets stopped on 4th and 1 and then reaches the ball out across the goal line with like 7 seconds left to win it. But I completely agree with you with the whole fan supporter thing, because most of the time, I think there's reasons, right? Most of the time people are doing that because their team has lost or is bad or is continually bad or whatever. And they're like, well, I'm a supporter of this other team, so I'm going to root for them while they're good and all this other
you can
stuff.
get the hell out of here.
The only reason
I'm just going to flat out say this. If you have a contingency team, you're lame and you're not a real fan of your team.
Yeah. This all that happened because you started talking about the Eagles, right? And that's not what that was at all. It's my brothers, like the Eagles, right?
You almost said the S word.
Yeah, my brother likes the Eagles, right? They're in the same state. Like, I know a lot of Eagles fans.
Would you call your brother?
I wanted to see them win their first ever Super Bowl.
Sir,
I wanted to see that.
Sir, there will be order.
I've already seen 2 or 3 in my lifetime from the Steelers.
There will be order on this show. Sir, would you consider your brother, or would you call your brother an Eagles fan?
Yeah, they're fans of the Eagles. I'd say Tony, like Mario, isn't insanely invested in the NFL. Tony is. Tony watches the Eagles every week.
Not a Steelers fan. He's not like.
No.
He's not like, man, my dream scenario is just an Eagles Steelers Super Bowl, and I'm just happy.
No, like Mario hates Mario's. It's funny. Mario's not even that huge of an NFL guy, he hates the Steelers.
That's what I'm talking about. No. That's what I need.
That's why he likes.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Tony dislikes the Steelers. I think he would like to see a Steelers-Eagles Super Bowl so that the Eagles could win, and Mario would like that too, and they could talk trash to us all the time.
Mario would like the. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Just so because he hates the Steelers that much. Yeah.
I hate every team in the NFL outside of the Falcons. I don't think I can root for. I mean, I love Aaron. Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player ever. So Falcons lose, I'm like, okay, I want Aaron Rodgers to.
Yeah,
and
I'll say this: if you are when you get to bowl season, if you're pulling for like a conference, it's lame. It's just it's kind of lame there. I don't want anyone. Who I pull for?
Yeah,
the teams I picked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I want to see every team in the Big Ten go 0-12 every year. Like I despise the Big Ten.
LSU year.
No, but think about it. There are legitimately Georgia fans out there that will pull for Florida in bowl games because they want to be like, see, SEC so much tougher. No,
it's ridiculous.
You are competing against Florida in recruiting every year. You're competing against Auburn and Alabama in recruiting every year. You don't want them to have that and be able to use it in recruiting. I mean, it's just to me, it's asinine when you go out there and you're pulling just because it's based off conference or it's like based off home state. I think it's lame.
I mean, I will put it like this: if Bama so happened to play in the championship game and play against Ohio State, I'm rooting for Alabama. I can't stand Ohio State fans.
That's fine, but that's not you rooting for Alabama. That's you hating another team.
Yeah, I just
that's not you rooting for Alabama to win. That's you pulling for Ohio State to lose.
Yeah. Because I'm never.
Which I think is fine. You're allowed to hate as many teams as you want to.
Absolutely.
I'm strictly a one-team fan per sport. Now, I will admit that if my team lose, I'm out of it.
I will say this too. I will say this too. I don't have the mental capability to have more than one team in a sport. Like the people out there who have multiple different teams in different leagues, I can't do that. I hardly have the mental capacity and time right now. And I not even mental, I should say emotional capacity to be invested in NBA team, an NFL team, a college football team, an MLB team. And then you have the people who are like, yeah, also I have an MLS team and I have an EPL team that I pull for. And you watch hockey, bro? Like where do you find the time? Or are you a liar and you say that you are a fan of these teams, but you only pull for them when they make it to the Stanley Cup or the NFL or the MLB playoffs, or they make it to the Champions League? Are you really a fan?
You know what disgusts me? I see somebody at 1 p.m. rooting for Lamar Jackson, and at 8 p.m. they're talking about why are we not passing the ball to Tyreek Hill? No, I wouldn't say rooting.
I will say
you have like 5 teams.
You can pull for players. I said that.
I said it the wrong way.
Yeah.
They're like, why is Baltimore not doing this? And then why is Kent? Like, you're pulling for 5 teams, 3 in one day. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like
I can't even talk junk
I
to
am
you
a
no
Lamar.
more.
I'm a Lamar stan, and I will pull for Lamar no matter
But I
what.
can't talk junk to you
Like
if you have three teams.
if Baltimore wins the Super Bowl with Lamar, I'm not gonna be like, I can't believe Baltimore won the Super Bowl. Like, man, Lamar won the Super Bowl. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
that's all I care about. It's like the same reason. It's like I'm pulling for Stafford. I could care less about the Rams.
Yep.
Could care
Right.
less about the Rams, but I'm pulling for Stafford because my man paid his dues in Detroit for a decade.
Exactly.
Like he's allowed. I'm
Had-
like you can pull for a guy to do well for another team, but when you have, like I said, if you have contingency teams,
Yeah. No.
it's lame.
Like you said, the players are great. Like Matt Stafford, people were questioning him. He's putting up 4,000-yard seasons every season. People were questioning him all the time in Detroit.
Also,
Like putting him in like
know what?
15 of their top 15 quarterbacks. Like that's
something
ridiculous.
beautiful happens when your team sucks. You're allowed to just appreciate the sport for what it is.
True.
When your team's good, you
Yeah.
can't appreciate the sport because you're so emotionally invested in what your team's doing that, like, once they play their game, whether it's on Saturday or Sunday, you're kind of like exhausted
Mhm.
for the rest of the day. When your team sucks, you don't care if they win or lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't. Like, what's the difference between being 6-6 and 7-5?
Right.
Right? If your team's bad, they're bad, and the whole season kind of opens up, and you can just appreciate the teams that are good and enjoy that.
Oh yeah, you get like I did this Sunday. I took a day off, from watching the Falcons early because they were down. Like they gave up 29 points in the
Cam,
second quarter,
The
and
Falcons.
went to
See,
go watch
right,
somebody else. I
man,
watched some more football.
I'd
No, the
much
Falcons
rather
are-
have
The
that.
Falcons are doing the thing to me this year.
but I'm able to.
No, they're sucking me back in.
Huh?
Yeah, the Falcons are sucking me in. They got
Oh,
4 wins
no.
already.
Nah.
A little bit by a little bit.
The NFC South's kind of not great.
Yeah.
Nah.
You only
Yeah.
have one more game against the Buccaneers.
Nah, they ain't sucked me back in.
I'll
They got
say-
a lot of schedule left.
I'd much
Exactly.
rather
Exactly. They got a
get
whole lot
beat
of
Oh,
like the
Lord,
Falcons
Kristen,
got
no.
beat this weekend rather than like every Penn State
Hey.
game over the past 5
Oh my
years
God, it's
has
rough.
been one possession.
That's rough.
It's like this year, I'm
Wow.
so emotionally drained, especially like when they're noon games, right? You watch the noon game, you lose by 4 or by 2 in overtime or whatever, which that's a thing now. So I can tell you about it. So you do those things, and then for the rest
God,
of the day,
Are you
I'm like
okay?
watching college football in pain. Like I want to enjoy it, but I'm like, we're gonna lose to Rutgers.
Can we talk about PJ's year so far? He lost. Like, let's talk about Pete. No,
It's been
PJ's
really up and down.
PJ's year in extra time. He lost to
Oh man, oh no.
Illinois.
in 9 overtimes.
What
Yep.
was it? 18-16,
Well, 20 to
20 to
18.
20 to 18, and then you freaking tied the Detroit Lions.
Mason Rudolph is the quarterback.
I don't think it would have mattered if Big Ben was in there, man. If I'm being 1,000%
Don't
honest,
say that.
I don't think it would have mattered. That is an interesting look, but hey, it's trending in the right direction. You lost a heartbreaker, you tied. Next time one of your teams goes to extra time, it's yours.
Do you ever watch college football players in the NFL? Like, do you ever watch NFL players like Mason Rudolph and the wide receiver? What is that? James Washington.
Yeah,
Both playing at Oklahoma State
Yeah,
in
they're
college, putting up like
amazing.
50 points per game.
yeah.
We have both on the Steelers. 16,
now- yeah,
16 points.
Now
in 5
Mason Rudolph, if
quarters.
people didn't know, they think he played at Wisconsin. Like that's what he looks like.
yeah.
That's the kind of quarterback he looks like. All right, we're a little bit over. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this. All right. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to send you guys home with some homework. You all right over there, Butterfingers?
No,
No.
that was my last one.
What did you drop?
Chocolate covered almond.
No. Those things go for like $40 a pound.
I know.
You're just over here dropping them on the
It's my
floor like
last-
you're made out of
That's
money.
my last one.
I think it's fine if you eat it.
What are you gonna say?
I think it's fine if you eat it.
Should be, yeah.
There's no judgment here.
No, it should be.
Yeah, basically
I'll
like
do
a-
it after the show.
All right, cool. PJ's gonna pick something off the floor and eat it. I want to send you home with some homework. I think we're getting to the point of the season where we can now go back, and whether you said it or not, or you just thought it, we can talk about what we were loud wrong about at the start of the season. So I just want you guys to go home and a moment of quiet reflection and think about what you were loud wrong about for this season.
College football.
Because like I had some like the first one that comes to mind for me is I said Tank Bigsby was going to be the SEC's offensive player of the year. Loud wrong. So just listen. You don't have to say anything right now. I just want you to go home and think about it. And then we'll circle back.
I know one thing.
You know, just save it.
Yeah.
Save it.
I'm gonna save it.
I appreciate you being humble and admitting that you're wrong. Meanwhile, PJ's over there trying to.
Oh
dig through
no,
the
I
depths of
mean
his mind.
there's plenty of them.
All right, so we'll do that tomorrow. We've got a big show coming up today on 3 and Out. Guys talking some NFL, some MLB, and of course, college football right here on ESPN Radio. If you missed any portion of our show, check it out on ESPNcoastal.com, Spotify, YouTube, or SoundCloud.